There's no arguing the positive effect of having a strong father figure in a child's life. Study after study shows this to be true, no matter how those on the left try to turn families against men. Joining us now is Carey Casey, whose new book, entitled Championship Fathering, talks about the importance of having strong male role models. Mr. Casey, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for having me on today.
Why did you feel this book was needed right now?
Well, quite naturally, there's a crisis in America when we're talking about fathering. And 65 million fathers in America, 24 million children will go to bed tonight without that biological father in the home. And when that happens, a child's more likely to be poor, more likely to drop out of school, more likely to be involved in crime. Girls, in fact, are more likely to become pregnant as a teenager. So there's a crisis, and dads need to be involved in their children's lives.
Well, these numbers have been around for years. Why is the media hiding these facts?
Well, more than anything, people, we put our heads in the sand. We're sitting around thinking like, well, money, stimulus packages and everything else can really supply our needs and this type of thing. But in reality, God made the family. And bottom line is, we're talking about a male and a female. We're talking about a husband and a bride, if you will. And so fathers have to take that major role of leadership in the family. And so we really believe championship fathering, men like to win. And so that's why we came up with the thought, even concerning the book, in terms of championship fathering, because fathers, believe it or not, they do want to win. Men want to win. They're competitors. So here is an arena that can help America really win. We can balance the budget from the White House to the outhouse, but if we don't have daddies there, fathers there involved in their children's lives, we got this world that's going topsy-turvy. And so when you see guys that are in prison or young ladies in prison and various stores there, you can see, why are they there? Many of them don't have relationships with their dad, and they don't have direction. And it's not just in the urban areas, but it's in the suburbia as well. People with money, but not involved in their children's lives. And so we have to literally find solutions for that, and we have that in Championship Fathering.
Where are the positive male role models?
Well, quite naturally, as we state, every child, one of our thoughts as far as a vision here, and we do know this, every child needs a father figure, or a grandfather in their lives. It's coming to a head, believe it or not, in terms of this fatherless generation. And I think about it, to answer your question, well, naturally, you do have some athletes that are, as far as the positive role models, if you will. But then, even in the communities, there are some people there that are standing up in terms of being dads. Even in the church, if you will, there are dads that are there. There are dads that are, and father figures as well, that are there to be there for the children. And I want to share this thought also. 3 things that clearly comes out through our research, and that is, Christian or non-Christian, is that a dad is loving. Love comes out of a dad by just being there. No perfect fathers, but one thing that really comes out first is that they're loving. They love the child's mother. They love the child. And then unconditionally, even if they're divorced, they're still very much involved, if you will, and they care for that child, care for that mother, don't belittle her. So loving comes out. But then also coaching. Not just coaching the team in the Pee-wee ball and that type of thing, which is great, but they are involved and they are aware of their children, if you will, and how different they are. It's just like Coach Tony Dungy, who wrote the foreword for the book. He is aware of his kids. He is coaching his kids, and he did that with pro athletes. But he also said in the foreword, he said, the way I relate to my children, I had to learn how to relate to them. So now he texts with his children. And so I have to do that as a 53-year-old with 3 grown children, and then a new son that's 12 years old, believe it or not. So I have to relate to him. But they're loving, they're coaching, but then they model also. They don't just preach it, but they model it. There are daddies that are there, believe it or not, with corporations. There are people in the culture that are really good dads. All of them are not bad, no. But then loving, coaching, modeling, but then also the 4th tenet of championship fathering is that they encourage another child that doesn't have a dad, just like I had the privilege to do with my next-door neighbors, 3 boys, Brett and I think of Kyle and Ryan. But then also their mother's there, but daddy's not there. So loving, coaching, modeling, but encouraging the child without a dad, but then enlisting other dads. I'm out to get to 10% of 65 million, and that's 6.5 million dads to sign up and to be championship fathers. Go to fathers.com/CF Championship Fathering.
Well, tell us about this commitment that you mentioned.
Yes, thinking about that commitment, in fact, men want to join a team. So this Father's Day, the 100th anniversary of Father's Day celebration in America. So getting to the 6.5 million, I want us to get to 1 million this year. And so we're going to be on the mall there in Washington, D.C. on June the 20th, which is the Saturday before Father's Day. And so there'll be thousands of dads there. Would love to have 1 million, but even if men can't be there, fathers can't be there, we want them to have rallies in the individual towns and cities, if you will, and they have ways by going to fathers.com/rally, and they can get more information concerning the rally on the mall. But then fathers.com/CF, and to sign up and to be counted for saying, I'm going to be a championship father. I'm not going to sit around and blame and talk about what somebody else is doing to me. I'm going to be on the offensive and not on the defensive and join the team, even if I've been through a divorce, even if I feel that I'm a failure, lost my job or something. But here are other fathers that are saying, hey, get off the bench. Let's get back in the game. You took some hits. It is difficult, but we are in America, the richest and most powerful country in the world, and we can't sit around and complain like some people do, but we need to take that ball and run with it. This is our chance. This is our opportunity.
What is the one lesson you want people to take away from your book?
One thing I think about is the three-legged stool, three-legged stool. Loving, coaching, modeling. If you take one leg off, the stool cannot be a place that you can sit. So if it's thoughts that we have, in essence, love your children. Love the child's mother, because that young man or that young daughter needs to see that. And I talked about that in terms of the modeling, if you will. But love the child's mother. But then also coach your children. Be there for them. Be involved in their lives. Be aware. Don't work so many long hours that you are not there for your children. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And my 3 older children told me this, Michael, that, Daddy, you did not cheat us. Don't cheat Chance. And Chance is my 12-year-old. And they were saying, Daddy, be there for Chance the way you were there for us. That's how we were able to develop. But loving, coaching, and then, Daddy, model it. And believe it or not, Michael, I remembered a few years ago, I went to play golf at a very nice golf course. And I'm African-American. And I remembered how I went to get my clubs one morning. A gentleman got out of his automobile. I was dressed real nice and all that. But he walked over to me, and he said, Sir, would you get my clubs for me? He's thinking I'm a caddy. And so I smiled and walked on. There were people there that said, why didn't you tell him who you are? And they were saying, he's the CEO, National Center for Fathering, and all of that. And they said, you should tell him who you are. But I said, no, I can't do that. I saw my father model before me years ago when he was called the N-word. But he looked at me, Michael, and he said, son, evidently they don't know my name. He knew who he was. And so fathers have to know who they are and realize they have an awesome responsibility, a privilege, and a position to play in order for the team to win a championship in the way of a father. And so it's exciting. But loving, coaching, and modeling, encourage and enlist another dad. That's what I would tell them.
Carey Casey, thanks for being on the Savage Nation.